vindicated, Uday, as of now.
Right. Major General Jacob Bansal, defense expert, I want to quickly draw you in here as well. You know, Trump poses the strikes, the Israeli Air Force continues. Iran's infrastructure being targeted as we speak in this fresh wave of strikes, Major General Bansal. Does this surprise you, or is this unexpected lines?
No, this is not surprising. Good evening, Uday. Actually, there are the two parts of the war. One is that the usual ongoing strikes. The other was the striking grid. That is the power plant of the Iran. That was the point where the Iran said that they will retaliate, they will do the same tit for tat. And it may not be the complete, but it may be just a strategic pause that America is doing. And one thing I would like to say here that everything is not going what President Trump is doing. There are the strategies that the military strategies they see and plan everything, and then only they go over what is good, what is bad. Because as such, definitely there had been the phone call going on to the White House and the Pentagon from all over the world about it. If there was the retaliation from Iran side, then it would have been a very bad and destructive one. So keeping that in mind, that definitely he tried to just threaten Iran, but he must understand, or America must understand, that Iran may be losing. They have lost a lot of their senior leaders, and they are losing. Their destructive things are going on, but still they are not backing out. And now, as far as the Iran is concerned, the leaders, most of the senior leaders are not there, and this is now in the hands of IRGC, who are the very hardliners. Of course, the President Masoud Pezeshkian is there, who is a moderate leader, but there is nobody listening to him. After the attack in Gulf region, he apologized to Gulf region, all the neighbors, and they said that there won't be any further attack, but still it was going on. So Iran in the mode of tit for tat, and I don't think that there will be any further proceed because the conditions are hard from both sides. Iran says that yes, we must be compensated.
Yes.
There should not be any attack, and there should be guarantee for not to attack. While America and Israel, they are on their hard stand, whatever they started for.
Okay, stay with us. In fact, we're getting some more breaking news. In fact, now coming in, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has held a call with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov after the US President Trump announced Washington's plan of partially pausing the strikes on Iran. Russia's Lavrov has called for an immediate cessation of hostilities and a political settlement that takes into account the legitimate interests of all parties involved, above all Iran. So a phone call being held between Lavrov and Araghchi. Major General Bansal, what do you make of what the two foreign ministers discussed? Russia calling for a complete cessation of hostilities.
Yes, definitely. Russia has been telling from the very beginning, because you know whatever has been, Natanz has been attacked, and there were the many Russian staff and technical staff was there, and it believed they are stranded over there. So Russia has got a lot of stake over there, but Russia can only talk about, nothing much can be done. Of course, there had been report that Russia is sending some S-400, S-300, but more than the diplomatic statement, that nothing much Russia is doing and nothing can be done. Only thing is that yes, till the time this war come to end, but it will never come to end, because Iran has got a stand that yes, they will not back down, and once they will not back down, the Iran will be slowly their power will be degraded, because as such America has moved two amphibian ships, warships, one is the Boxer and the Tripoli, to capture this Kharg Island, and they have also deputed about 2,500 Marines, and there are the Delta Force and the Naval SEAL. So next idea of America is to capture this Kharg, which has got about 90% oil of Iran passes through it, but it will be difficult. As such, Iran has been, this part has been bombed by America, but they did not bomb the oil facility. So let us see what happened. But only everything now depends on the Strait of Hormuz. And this is because they have, the Iran has laid the anti-ship mines, which is very dangerous. Any ship going over there will be blasted. So nobody is daring to go in that. Even their amphibian ship will not go until it is being cleared. So the position or the condition is very complicated. Let us see what happens in due course of time.
Manan Dwivedi, the Russian stand once again being put forth. Of course, right now this is a temporary cessation as announced by the US President. Russia calling for a complete cessation of hostilities. calling for a settlement, calling for Iran's interests, legitimate interests to be placed prime, is what Russia's foreign minister has said in this phone call, reportedly our sources tell us. Manan Dwivedi, foreign affairs expert, your take.
Definitely. I would just comment that as far as the Kremlin is concerned, Vladimir Putin and the Russian think tanks and the Russian diplomatic establishment should actually look into as to what they have done in the past. Because the American key modicum of foreign policy and diplomacy talks about preemption being one part of it and regime change being other part of it. So I think now if you look back into the antecedents, if that can be considered as an antecedent, then the Russians have gone on to themselves indulge very nefariously in a kind of a regime change in countries or in their ex-satellite states of the order of Chechnya, Azerbaijan and Georgia, wherein a lot of strife has been seen and dissent has been quelled and all kinds of dictatorial and authoritarian and totalitarian measures have been taken. Coming back to Middle East quickly, West Asia quickly, I would like to say that it is not about we being the audience or the war being a spectator sport, but still the denouement of the war. You know, the culmination of the war is something which all democracies, liberal democracies, or maybe a Sanatani democracy like India, that we are expecting. Because the Americans are ridiculed, lampooned. As one of the columnists, he just talked about the kind of running away comments, the kind of unpredictable comments and uncertainty which reflects from President Donald Trump's comments. That kind of a thing has earned a very bad name. And, you know, more rectitude, more spine, and more of a singular purpose as far as the military objectives and as far as the military maneuvers are concerned are expected from President Donald Trump. Otherwise, the critiques are going to be very much after the people who are there in White House and the State Department, wherein they will compare it to a Vietnam War or the Afghan War or other smaller debacles, which America has found itself involved in since the last 30, 40, 50 odd years as an aftermath of World War II. So what what President Trump has started, he must bring it to a culmination in the sense that the second stage of war, something which is not the denouement, but something which will lead to the culmination, like the shock and awe of missiling and using drones and aircraft, combat aircraft and bombers, that has ended. But that has not once again yielded victory for the American war machine. Now, the second phase, before the troops on ground come, as I had been telling earlier also, that the taking out phase might be in the offing.
Absolutely. Stay with us.